Welcome to episode 2 of xYOUTHGROUPx, our new podcast that we're excited to be here again.
You sound so excited.
You do.
I'm very excited. Our new podcast.
We're excited.
Well, we've shot other episodes today, so we're already having fun. We're already in good spirits. This episode is going to be about life in the 2000s versus now, how things happened, how we discovered music, how shows went, all these types of things. And I think this kind of really sets us up for going into guest, because our next episode we have a guest, and I will go ahead and say that it is someone. I'm going to tell you who it is.
I think you already said it in the last episode.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I did.
Way to
Well,
go.
if I didn't, it's Joe Mustin from the beloved bands such as
you
Beloved
did.
and Almost Not Even Advent. I don't know.
I'm offended.
Canceled.
Okay. Well, all right, so let's start talking about how we got music. We've talked about this already before, but LimeWire, BearShare, FrostWire.
FrostWire.
There was another one.
This episode brought to you by LimeWire.
LimeWire had no money. That was the problem. There was another one. There was BearShare, FrostWire, LimeWire.
I was only LimeWire and FrostWire.
I was a LimeWire and BearShare guy. What were
Like
you?
that.
All the way LimeWire. I did. There was a little workaround with Rhapsody for a while, where when you played a song on Rhapsody, that you got to play I think you got to play 10 full songs a day or something like that in like a 24-hour period. And so
Like as a free?
yeah, like without a paid account, you got
Yeah.
to play 10 songs on Rhapsody. But when you played them, it saved it as a temporary file on your computer. And so I didn't do this. But my friend,
Let's call him Mailer.
his name is Jared. Not the one that you're thinking of.
Okay.
He has a very important job and a very everybody would know what it is. So I'm not going to shout him out. But he taught me how to do this. I don't know how he figured it out, but homeschool kids, we know how to use computers.
That is true.
That's the fact.
But okay, so you had methods like that. I told the story did I tell it in the last episode? About about my grandmother taking me to the Christian bookstore.
Yep.
The Christian bookstore is massive for us. And it honestly sucks that is not around now, because I don't know how. I mean, well, I do, but let me come back to it. I don't know how kids discover bands these days, in the sense of let me hear them for what they are musically. Now, I clearly, because of what Whitsett is, I know people discover bands because of social media.
The Tic Tac.
Obviously, that's the reason. It's the reason half of you are watching right now, because you know us because of that. But
It's all algorithm now.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose. It's really chosen for you,
Yep.
whether you like it or not.
based on your history, your watch views, your patterns, and stuff like that.
It's like predestination for music.
Yeah, something.
Got 'em.
Hey,
Pretty much.
We're going to talk more about
We're gonna talk more about that today. But in the, you'd go into Lifeway and you'd be like, "Oh, I've never heard of Norma Jean. Let me pick this up." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Ah,
Look, it's got a bird on it. I bet this sounds sweet.
yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a good wholesome." You can take it to your mom, and be like, "It's got a bird."
You love birds, Mom.
This is the symbol. This is hope. This is the
My
hope.
grandma's name is Norma.
And Jean, you know Jean.
Oh, we
You
all
met
knew a Gene.
Yeah. But it's terrible that LimeWire was so great in the sense. It wasn't great for the artist. Obviously, we can have that conversation. I said before, we're gonna have to apologize to a lot of people that come on this podcast, but it just sucked, because there was something that everyone was behind. Whether it had nothing to do with emo. I was downloading Dashboard and Reliant K in the same spot I was downloading Black Eyed Peas.
And the Saw movies.
Oh, dude, I did download some movies.
Dude, you know what I realized? There's this band called Houston Calls, and I downloaded off of
I know where
LimeWire,
you're
Bobby
going
and
with
Bonnie,
this.
and then I found out that Josh, from the drummer for May, he was like, "So I did this reunion show with my band Houston Calls," and I was like, "I'm sorry."
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
I owe you 46 cents. I'm so sorry.
Yep, so sorry.
But it just sucks because there's no true platform.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to pitch our platform. No, I'm playing.
No, Lord.
But it's the age of social media has changed a lot of the way we discover bands, and not so much as the music is. You discover via LimeWire, you discover via these things. But the main way I found bands, at least regionally back in the day, was shows, specifically church shows.
Yeah.
Because back then every church was a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like you and I from the same city.
That's how we met.
Yeah. Well, at least we think. We still don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I think we met at the IHOP. At the IHOP.
But it was after a show.
It was probably after a show at the IHOP. But
Yep.
there was, I can just quickly count 4 or 5 churches in our small city of Burlington, North Carolina, that were venues that had shows weekly, monthly, but sometimes even weekly. Like ICC, shout out.
It was every weekend, yeah.
Dude,
Even
shout
I played
out,
ICC.
exactly. To who was running that? Oh, now you played the worship center, though. You didn't play the youth center. Yeah, I was at the show you played, but the youth center was like.
That was with Great Awakening and Andy Roy.
Yeah, the youth center would have bands like. I'm trying to think of they would have Yearling.
My Epic played there.
My Epic
all the
played there.
time.
Ascend Hill played there. A bunch of.
I opened for My Epic one time.
Did you?
I did too. Wait, I opened on the I Am Undone tour.
I don't remember what. I just remember thinking this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
played I played maybe 4 times.
Yep. Greensboro, we had Cafe Jam.
Greensboro, we had Cafe
we
Jam.
opened for Cool Hand Luke there. And Alexander, which turned into... Oh, God, I cannot remember. They were amazing, though. It was phenomenal.
But the opportunities for bands, but we could get back into that later.
Yeah.
But the culture of I don't need plans this weekend. There's a show and I'm just gonna go.
Yep.
Hasn't been around for a decade.
Yep.
Plus at this point.
Yeah.
And it's sad because I look at fest like Warped Tour coming back. And I understand the market is us. We are their market as far as who the end consumer can be. Give me your 30 to 40-year-old with disposable income that can go see nostalgia bands and stuff like that. I hope, and this isn't necessarily my pitch to be you should book Whitsett for Warped Tour, which should, but my hope is that there are bands like ours that become this second wave of, I say we're the second wave of youth group emo, but the second wave of, I feel like this might get me in a little bit of trouble, but I don't care.
Classic.
There is a lot of bands that are overly produced pop punk and emo right now. Not to say they're not good. I literally have bands in mind. I'm not going to say them. But they're bands that I can think of that are good, but that are that. But there's something missing that honestly, you are the reason that we have it, because you're the one that always pulls me back when I am well, we could make this, we could do this, we could do this. You're the one that always pulls me back to some sense of well, is this what we would have done 10, 20 years,
Yeah.
But I want to see that, so when these people our age, like you, that have kids, obviously yours is younger, but the people that are closer to 40 that have kids that I've seen tons of them at Furnace Fest and places like that, when they come out to these shows, there's a new band on the rise that they can connect with the same way that I connected with an opening Reliant K for Toby Mac, the same way that I connected with Yearling at ICC, or, fill in the blank of 100+ bands that I saw. A very young He Is Legend playing, all these bands. You got to go up with them and be a fan. That does not happen now. And especially, I can speak about us. The amount of followers. Let's call it followers. The amount of followers that we have compared to most bands in our genre, in our space, we have more. Mm-hmm. That's just because he has a marketing background, and so do I. We just get that.
Yeah.
But the reality of that is it kind of doesn't matter. At least in my opinion, it doesn't matter a way a lot of people think it does. Because for me, I would give half of that, most of that up to play shows every weekend and an easy setting where you're constantly seeing new people the way we used to do.
It's more organic.
It's more organic, but to me, it just felt like everyone was there. Mm-hmm. I think that's honestly why Furnace Fest works so well, because the Furnace Fest community group on Facebook, shout out Elena, that community group really just pulls people together. Like the only thing I've seen since when we were kids that does something like that.
Yep.
I would also, I worked in youth ministry for a long time, and somewhat still do. And it's always, I've taught guitar lessons and a plethora of things, but there's not as many young people. And when I say young people, I mean like,
where's all the young
16, 17, 18, when I kind of got into music, like for real. There's not as much of that anymore.
No.
And they may be into music, and even like I've gone to some shows for artists like outside of our genre, and there's like, different types of like indie pop and stuff, and there are some young people doing that, and that's awesome. But what I do see a lot of that is like, it's like one person with a guitar and everything else is tracks, like they're creating in their bedroom, which is cool. But there's just something missing where it's like, hey, we went and saw these people play music, and we can do that too. Like, let's get together and write some stuff together. Let's practice. Let's be a band. Yeah. And let's try to play shows. And I think part of the problem with
says the guy who doesn't play shows with us.
Well, I have a kid. But it's...
also come.
I think part of the problem with that is because there's not those venues and there's not those spaces that are willing to book those shows. Like, when I was opening for My Epic, like, it wasn't good. Like, I had... The songs that I wrote were so sad, and just it was not great. But I was given an opportunity in those small spaces to be able to get up on a stage, and I was encouraged to like keep going.
There were so many opportunities given back then.
Always.
It was not hard to hop on a local show. I don't think near as hard as it is today.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with the day is like, I mean, that's when you're saying you still are in youth group a little bit, and I'm in worship stuff and kind of look after student worship. But I mean, the amount of kids when we were growing up that, I mean, you had way too many people who were very capable, but also willing to play, especially in church stuff. And now it's like, and I don't want to demean the art of just sharing on social media, because I think it is important these days, and it's just a part of the process, and fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it. But I just don't feel like even the drive for kiddos who want to play music is like that anymore. And I think you're right that it does play a big part of it. Of there's no spaces, even as like a country band we're in North Carolina right now, but like there's like one freaking place to play, and the rest is acoustic, and it's all money. Everything's around money. That I feel like we don't have like that passion anymore of like it
live was music.
Yeah, and it wasn't like we wanted to make it big either. Like, I mean, we wanted hopefully to have some success in it, and it was a passion, but it was really community focused, like you said. I mean, it was like you see all the same familiar faces, and I mean, heck, that's how we all met. I mean, because I lived, in like freaking Stokesdale, and y'all were in Burlington. I didn't get to meet Taylor till way later, but
for you guys who are watching who are not from North Carolina, let me paint you a picture of Stokesdale. You ever seen the Beverly Hillbillies?
yeah, that's about right.
That's about it.
That's about right. But I mean, because of those, shows and churches being, amazing hosts and venues for allowing us to do what we did. I mean, that's how I became a friend of Burlington in general, meeting a lot of your friends and friend groups, and Zach, JT, and Christian Turner, and Dakota, all those guys. So I miss that. I wish we had that still. I really do.
We are very intentional. Whenever we book shows, we've only done a few headline shows, just because I don't feel like we're in a massive spot to do that right now. But I handpick. I can't say always, because I'm not always available. I'm not always allowed to pick our openers. But the shows that I am allowed to pick our openers, I handpick bands that I feel like, and I mean, you can argue with me, but I handpick.
Ready.
I handpick bands that I feel like have the vibe of like, they're just looking for like one more thing to help them kind of push to that next spot.
Yeah.
That they have something going and they just need something, like they're just looking for something else to encourage. Because honestly, that doesn't stop. Like I feel like we're that way. You know, we just did all this stuff with May, and I feel like coming back to just our shows, I'm just like, let's go play with Reliant K. Let's go play with someone else. Let's go do something. Yeah. Because everyone is, you know, until you hit a certain point, like everyone's trying to level up, and even guys like that. Take Under Oath. They're doing, wow. I know they went out with Slipknot at one point. I can't remember who they're going out with right now, but it's someone adjacent to that. But take a band, I mean, like Under Oath, that's it for us.
Yeah. And
they're still trying to level up.
I think a good example of that, and I haven't seen this in a long time, so I was actually blown away, but when we played I guess it was like our first headline show in forever, the little Flatiron gig in Greensboro. Casey's little brother and his girlfriend came, and when we had moving boxes, they were direct support, right?
They were awesome.
Grayson was like, dude, that was so cool. Like, I have never heard of them before. And it was like seeing that kind of all over again. Yeah. But it was crazy because like he was the only kid there, you know?
Yep.
But it was cool to see that kind of thing happen again.
That's the kind of thing. It's like, I don't know how, other than the opportunities we get to headline and where I get to pick our support slots, I don't know how we get to, I don't know what more we can do to reopen that space. But I hope that when a band comes and sees us, dude, this sucks, but we're shooting this in November. We're playing it in Charlotte this coming Sunday. And I had a guy message me. This is not on the venue by any means, but a guy messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I want to come and bring my kids. Is it truly a hard 18 cap?" And unfortunately, it is, because it's a bar, food. There's laws. It's not the venue's fault by any means. Yeah. But I told him, I was like, it is like there's nothing I can do. They're very strict. They have reasons for being very strict. There's laws and stuff like that. Yeah. At least I believe so. And it sucks to me because I was sitting there thinking like, dang, these kids, they're under 16. They're the perfect people that should come to a show like this and watch a band like ours. Not to say that we're that great, but just watch a band like ours and be like, yo, I want to go buy a guitar. Like, what do I got to do to start doing this? Yeah. Because that's how it all...
You should do a youth group tour.
I was gearing to go somewhere with that. Oh. So let me bridge into this. If there is youth pastors, venue owners, promoters that happen to watch this video, what are things that we could potentially throw out there that could be things that push us back into that? Things that push us back into that space of where we feel like, not necessarily feel like it's 2005 again, but feel like there are things that are happening that are promoting new, upcoming, start a band, all things like that. I ended one podcast, I don't remember what it was on, but I ended it with start a band. Yeah. That was my takeaway phrase, start a band.
Yeah, I think from someone who is still very heavily ingrained in the church staff world, we have to be a little less protective of our spaces. Because I think that has become, I'm not saying where I work is like that, I'm just saying in general, it's like when someone from the outside wants to, or let's just say the youth group itself is putting on an event and you want to bring in bands, I feel like we're just really protective of our spaces because of what we have and the amount of money that's gone into it. And I think that's one, like, I remember when we were growing up, I mean, it was like, it didn't matter where you went. It was just they were cool with it.
Here's a 16-channel Yamaha board. Yep. Half of us don't know how to turn it on.
And if you got really lucky, you got some Avions, And it just, I feel like we just have become extremely protective over, and we use language like, we want to steward well what the Lord's given us. And I think what that really means is we don't want some little shitheads to come in and break stuff. And I hate that.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, I know, right? Right I know.
But what's... Yeah, I just wonder, like, I'm going to specifically speak to people that work at churches and youth group leaders right now. I feel like I have this moment every episode where I'm just looking at the camera like I'm speaking to the American people.
Every eye closed.
I don't know where I'm supposed to look when he does that.
Everyone just look at me and close your eyes. No, I think, youth leaders, like, when did we stop having bands at lock-ins? When did we stop having bands at back to school events and Halloween events? I'm kind of talking to you a little bit too. Like, when did we stop doing all that? Like, when did we take we're probably not. I mean, you can book us. That's fine. But like, there's a band in your town that could do it and be pretty good, and you could give them $100 and a box of pizza. You cannot do that with us. Do not email me with that.
But 2 boxes of pizza.
No pizza.
Praise
I will
God.
not do pizza. But there's a
Chick-fil-A.
band you could give them. Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking.
Got him.
Give me that chicken sandwich. I like bacon on it too. There's a band in your city, in your town, that you can give them $100, a box of pizza, and a night of playing video games and everything else, and they would love it.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything like that in forever. I get I'm 32, I get I'm older, and I have no kids, but I also know enough people that work in churches and also follow enough stuff to know that that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
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 As two people who work in churches, why? Debate.
I mean, I do think like what Fig was saying about like protecting the spaces, I think is a little bit overboard. I think another huge problem isn't just a church problem, but it's a music industry problem, no matter what genre that, like I was talking about earlier, that there's not a push for young people to create or to learn music, because everything, I mean, there's more people, right? I guarantee you there's more people under the age of 20 right now that are trying to figure out how to create songs that sound like Taylor Swift is singing with AI than they're just like opening up a DAW on their computer trying to make music, like.
And why would you do a local show when you want to learn it so that you could share it with the world on your social media platform?
Like I'm not going to get big by playing local shows, like whatever. And I there's probably a lot more stuff that we could go into. I think social media, as good of a thing that it can be, plays into that too. It's hard to put yourself out there and to put something forward that's so vulnerable that you've created, that you can't necessarily edit so much. Like you get up and you perform live, you're putting yourself out there, whether you play all the right chords, sing all the right notes or not. But when you can do it digitally and share stuff that way, you can make all the edits, so it's always perfect.
You can present the best version.
And like some of the best shows that I went to wasn't the best show in those church basements or whatever. It wasn't because the music sounded perfect. It sounded like trash. But all of my friends were there. There were speakers blown. There were holes in the stage, but we had a good time.
What a great time.
And the ability to stand literally as close as I am to you with somebody that is a touring artist, no matter at what level they're touring, if they're touring other churches or if they're playing bigger stages, and I'm just like hanging out with you and talking to you after the show, buying your CDs, like whatever.
Shout out CDs.
Miss those things.
T-shirts, whatever. But
one thing that irritates me right now, and this will seem specific, but I know there's other people that do this, is I am very conscious. You know this. As soon as our set is over, I'm making my way as fast as I can to the merch table.
Yep.
And I see a lot of bands that do not do that.
Yeah.
From two standpoints, we talked about, obviously the business side of things. So I'm going to jump into that just for a second. I know for a fact we sell more merch for two reasons. One, when I'm behind the table, and two, when I'm wearing merch. Because actually, I wear this hat every single day. They can verify that.
I've stolen 7 from your house every time I come to town.
Dude, well, Taylor and I are very intentional about making merch that we would wear, so that we wear it. But I am very big on being behind the merch table, because I think, not that I think we're anything important by any means, but San Antonio.
Yeah.
This girl comes up to us in San Antonio. We're out with May, and she goes, "Why didn't you play one of our songs, Guys Love Girls, that night?" And I was like, we just, 30 minutes, we'll play. She's like, "That song changed my life."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But,
like, really?
I mean, then it hit me for a second. I was
That
like,
one?
dang. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, that's wild. But the thing is I've said the same thing to Matt Hoops. I was like, dude, songs you wrote changed my life. How many other people have the opportunity to say that to the person that wrote those songs?
Yeah.
I felt like back then kind of based off what you were saying, you could just do that. You could go up to the band because bands would watch other bands and stuff like that. You're like, hey, dude, I don't want to bother you, but I'm the biggest Creed fan of all time, Scott Stapp. I love that you wrote "Who's Got My Back." Like, thank you so. But and it's funny for us to have some of those experiences already. Yeah. Just because, and us, we laugh and we're like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
There's no way. But it's also very. I think about it a lot, not in the sense of like, hey, check us out, but I think about it a lot in the sense of just like, that was me.
Yeah.
That was 100% me.
I mean, you think about a live fest that we played this past year.
Oh, dude.
And, they had a mandatory meet and greet.
Which we had never done a meet and greet
Never
before.
done that before. And it wasn't like, a mandatory meet and greet. In my brain, and you know me, I'm always like.
You were signing butts.
Oh, no, I was not. No, I was
Henry
not.
came up.
Oh, Lord. Mike Tyson was next. It was great.
Oh, God.
But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, there's no one's going to come into this stupid line.
Oh, yeah, dude. I thought that too.
And, I mean, there was like 50, 75 people in that line.
An hour and a half line.
And I just, I mean, it was a really humbling thing because it's like, you've also seen people in music scene over the years of our life where we're like, I just don't ever want to be like that. I don't want to ever be like you can't talk to me or can't say hello or anything. Like, I mean, I deal with that all the time. When people stare at me in public for church reasons, not because of Whitsett, for church reasons, and they just look at you and I'm like, what the heck is their problem? And then they're like, hi, I know you from the XYZ where you work,
From the XYZ. It's not hard to figure out where you work.
I know, Summit Church, sorry.
Google.
But yeah, I was...
Google me, Chuck.
Please don't Google me. Yeah, it was a humbling thing because I didn't expect people to actually care and want to say hello, and they did. And,
I cared about Emma, not us.
Yeah, I mean, and we won't tell stories from that, but I mean, there were some people who really just were like grateful to even say hello.
Oh,
and,
100%.
I mean, it was amazing, and I think it was kind of special, man.
And we talked about that the entire rest of the trip.
We did,
for sure.
We did.
We also talked about other things once we got to Cedar Point the next day, and we lost Cody for a while.
I lost my voice for 5. Oh, we didn't get him back for a while.
We didn't catch him back for a while.
And when we say a while, we mean months.
Yeah, I mean,
he
seriously.
got stuck on a ride.
What did we say brought him back from his what do we call it out there?
What did bring him back?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but he said it. He was like,
did.
something brought him.
Something brought him back.
Cody's our guitar
it was a
player.
wedding.
Oh yeah, Emma's wedding.
It was wedding.
Back, yeah.
Yep.
He just needed to dance a little.
He did.
Shake it off.
Oh,
hey, come on now.
You ever seen a hermit without its shell?
Oh.
But that line, that's a great example of like, we would never do a meet and greet like a, dude, you know who kills this? I'm going to give them a massive credit thing right here.
Okay.
Not that it matters. Switchfoot. Do you know where I'm going with this? The Switchfoot after shows where they'll put on Instagram or whatever, after show 5 minutes by the bus, see you there. And you just get this moment with Switchfoot. I've never done that. I've only been to one Switchfoot show that I didn't even get to stay at.
They do a lot of acoustic, like they'll come out and just like hang out afterwards.
Exactly.
And, do some more songs or whatever. I've seen lots of like YouTube videos and stuff of them doing that.
But Switchfoot also has a normal VIP where you can have a slightly more intimate experience.
Right.
But they're still creating with the like post-show thing. They're still creating this thing where you can go have, I would argue, more of a moment than I just went to see Switchfoot last night.
Yeah.
Like, no. I got to go see Switchfoot by their bus. John came out with an acoustic guitar.
Right.
We sang 4 songs. Everyone sang. It was us.
Yeah, it goes beyond an experience to like a memory.
Yeah.
I think, At that point, I think like
Yep.
it's not just something that you went to and you have a ticket stub and some pictures on your phone, but you're gonna remember that forever. You know.
Yeah.
I used to have Bon Jovi ticket stubs, but I lost them.
I'm sure you did.
I also understand too, like when it's at a certain level, I understand that it's tough, and you have to sometimes for some artists there's some safety measures there, and I get that stuff. I really do. And I think we're definitely talking about, when you're at I think the stage that we're at, which is we're not God, we're not out here playing like 15,000 cap shows, but while you can be very accessible, be accessible. I think it's important.
Yeah. I mean, this is completely different genre and everything, but you seen the video of like Post Malone after his show, like
basically like fighting with his own security to try to like go talk to people and stuff. And I think that's that's inspiring to see people even at that level do it. Because to me, in my mind, as a musician, whatever, creative, somebody that's kind of in very loosely in the same space, it's cool to see people who are creating for that reason. It feels more real. Like you get my stamp of approval if I see that, you know, when you're really about it and you're not just kind of mailing it in to collect whatever money that you can and to,
I think that's what sold his country thing to me.
Absolutely. It's real.
It felt real.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm not going to say the other name, but there was another artist that did a country thing, and I did not vibe.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like it was near as real as Post.
Why don't you want to say
Oh,
that?
I see now. Sorry. I was actually thinking about
To
it.
get the comments, but
No,
I
don't
can't
say it.
begin.
But I agree with you.
Because the Diddy list. You want to know the truth?
Oh, no. Oh,
I'm
man.
But yeah, so to kind of come back, opportunities, local venues.
Yeah.
When bands email, or promoters, local venues, when bands email and you don't email them back, I understand how many emails a venue can get. Dude, there's tons of times where we don't get emailed back, and I'll be like, hey, we have 20,000 or so many thousand followers. We got so many monthly listeners. We just played this. We've done this. We've done this. And they're like, okay, I don't care. And don't email back. Because now life is all about, well, how many hard tickets have you sold? How many soft tickets have you sold? And I get all that matters.
Yeah.
I 100% get all that matters. But what you could do is, let's say, Taylor's band. Let's say Taylor's band emails X venue.
What's the band name?
It's called Taylor's Band.
Love that.
Taylor's Band.
We have Taylor's version as our first album.
Yeah. Taylor's Band. He doesn't release. He plays a show. He tries to get on a show. Gosh, y'all have got me all sideways.
Sorry.
Taylor's Band tries to get on a show. He emails the venue, and the venue just doesn't respond. What is Taylor's Band's takeaway from that? Why doesn't the venue respond? Does nobody like our music? Does nobody like this? And nobody like that? And it's very possible that all of the things you could think are true. Where a venue owner could just put good faith into the world is responding in the sense of like, hey, the date you wanted isn't open, or hey, we already have this full for another thing. Just open some sort of dialogue. It doesn't have to be your band is terrible. It doesn't have to be your band is great. It's just like, hey, this is the facts. Like, the show isn't open. This isn't this. I have a DM sitting. I have an email sitting right now that I need to respond to. I'm so intentional as best I can about responding to people about things that are like, we have a collab request sitting right now, and I don't think we're in the spot to do collabs. B, I just don't think it's the right fit. And I'm going to tell the guy, like, hey, music's cool. I just don't think it's the right fit for us.
Yeah.
And I think we have more followers and all that other stuff, and that's fine. But I don't feel like, if I've seen it and I ignore it, then I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I would be pissed if someone did the same thing to me.
Yeah.
So venue owners, promoters, when bands hit you up, some sort of encouragement back, just to let them know they're not wasting their time.
Yeah.
Could be massive, because that's what could, keep these bands afloat, keep things going, keep people wanting to start more and more bands.
Yeah.
And then the youth pastors, throw a lock-in, throw a back to school event, throw a Halloween trunk or treat thing, throw, a whatever night at youth group. Throw something.
Throw a music night.
Yeah.
Like, just start asking kids in your youth group if they have any friends that have bands, or even just play guitar. Like, got to start somewhere.
Like, dude, this is not to put you on the spot by any means, but like, the Summit has a great spot. Like, the youth group, to throw that. Why is there no? Obviously, I know that's not where the position you work in.
Right.
But it's like, I couldn't think of a better spot to throw some band that's made up of Summit kids, because at one point I was a band made up of youth group kids. Like, obviously logistics aside, but it's like, we could do that. We could play with a band like that, and make that, I'm up for things like that.
Yeah, I think honestly, I believe.
Also, our booking fee is really expensive.
Yeah, it's so pricey. My boss Jonathan always says any rut's a bad rut, whether it's working or not working. And I would say that I think most of us are just in a rut. We've gotten super comfy with, we have the band, we're gonna do a Christmas party so they can sing Last Christmas and insert whatever Christmas song and just let them do that. And I think Taylor's point as well is like there's just not a lot of kids doing music as well. But you're right. I mean, I think we have to do something where we can open up those doors again and open up opportunity again, because we've gotten super comfy, at least, and I'm not saying we're super comfy at the summit and that, but I think sometimes we have to open our eyes a little bit more and see the other options that there are out there instead of doing what we always do. And, yeah.
Bring Battle of the Bands back.
Dude.
Is there a Battle of the Bands?
I've never had a good
I
experience.
feel like
with
there
Battle of the
was
Bands.
for things, but there used to be so many Battle of the Bands for any given slot.
Yeah.
There was tons of things here that would be like, hey, you want to open for Taking Back Sunday as they come through, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We're going to host the Battle of the Bands here, blah, blah, blah. And let me be honest, I hated playing Battle of the
Yeah,
Bands.
same.
But for a band that's just starting, for a band that's just getting going, that has no traction,
Yeah, it's
why
like
not?
an open mic night for your band to
Yeah.
play.
But I also always felt like those were rigged.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably.
we did
Anytime
one.
I didn't win, I'd be like, it's rigged.
But
Wow.
you don't even
look at them rig it.
Not even just with Battle of the Bands. I just, when I said open mic night for bands, it made me think like you don't even go to coffee shops really anymore in
Oh, yeah.
in cities like Burlington and around this area. Maybe
Yeah.
in Nashville, there's some places
Yes.
that are more designed for that for sure. But I think, it used to be also every Friday night there was somebody sitting, even if it was just one acoustic guitar.
Oh, I
playing
did those.
in Starbucks.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anymore either.
Starbies.
Yeah, I mean, I remember doing a battle. We did country in the Battle of the Bands, and it never went well. It was always, I hated those. They're terrible. But I remember doing one with my stuff growing up, and we had like different legs of it with like different lineups that were competing for it, essentially at different venues, and then essentially whoever won at each one will get to do like side stage before a Red concert in Raleigh or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And so we did that. But I mean, whether we thankfully won, but I mean,
Rigged.
rigged for me. But I remember like that's how I met like Zane and Wes and those guys from And by Love, and the Atlas guys who were phenomenal, and that was all local. Like half people probably don't know who the heck those people are, but
Maybe Atlas.
yeah, maybe Atlas, but there's still people like I think I'm having lunch with Wes in like 2 weeks, and so I mean there's still great memories of like, once again, community, how I met people, form relationships, and I can only hope that this next gen coming up, they get to experience that as well. But the one thing I will say, being in that realm still of being able to observe students, and I have my kiddo Mason. He's not a kiddo anymore. Sorry, Mace. He's overall like student worship, but he's so intentional about having conversations with kids and making sure he's around and not just sticking in the green room and stuff like that. And but I think this generation is kind of wanting to peel back the BS and the perfection. And I think I heard Martin Smith say the other day, he's like, hey, go off the click track for one song. Next Sunday will happen too. And so I think we kind of got to get a little away from the perfectionism of what we do, especially as churches, from my standpoint, in order to get back to that being okay. Because I know for me, man, I'm like, I see some stuff, I'm like, oh gosh. And then I have to remember, I was 16 and not great,
Yeah, I saw you at 16.
I know you did. And I thought I was awesome. Plot twist, I was not. I wasn't. I was not, dude. And so I think we got to be, for the lack of better terms, I think we got to have a little bit more grace, a little more opportunity. And
To wrap this section up and move on to our really fun thing that we're going to
do we have a second to thank our sponsors?
Who's our sponsors?
Thank you, our
them,
sponsors.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you for them. Go ahead.
To wrap this up, there's one more person to blame in the Christian music section.
Go on.
And I'm going to blame you pretty hard, so I'm going to look at the camera. Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh.
This might burn us, but labels. You have screwed the pooch. You did this. I've heard stories of, I'm not going to mention specific labels or specific bands, but it's bands I know. So if you want to draw the lines, you can do it yourself. There's bands I know in Nashville that were on big Christian labels that were just ignored, neglected, or given bukus of money, and then they would just not care about the end product. Gosh, I want to be specific so bad, but I'm not going to. Christian labels are so nervous and careful about making sure they don't upset their consumer base, making sure they don't upset the K-Love listener. And let me preface that by saying there's good people at K-Love. K-Love, Steve at K-Love has been awesome to us. He shares our music in their playlist, and there's good people in these industries. It's not everyone. But K-Love is so, they just don't, not K-Love, sorry. The Christian music industry just does not care if you're not a worship act right now. If you're not CCM or worship, they don't care. And maybe there's stuff I don't know. There probably is. They're probably burned by some bands. There's probably things like you know what, maybe Under Oath, Devil Wears Prada, a lot of these bands that just flipping the script on them and not being Christian anymore, and that probably plays a part into it. But there's also bands, I'll use us for an example just because we're us. There's also bands that are trying to do things in a positive light, and a light that could potentially bring people that you're not going to reach to a place like an Alive, to a place like a Winter Jam, to just meet Jesus for the first time. And you guys are specifically the reason that doesn't happen. And I tend to believe you don't actually care. Because if you cared and you wanted that to be your end goal, you would look for artists that are trying to move into new spaces, trying to do things that aren't just everything else. I don't mean this to say bad about Alive, because I had an incredible time. It was a great festival. But we go to Alive, and every band there does some sort of altar call. And I'm so confused, because I'm like, this is like, it's like buying a ticket to see Justin Bieber and then surprised when he gets there.
Yeah.
You knew what you were going there for. You knew the objective. And I understand there's probably someone that got dragged there and stuff like that. I have a story similar to that of being dragged to an event like that. And I get it. But the vast majority, there's probably 20,000 people there. I would say less than 200 of them, probably even less than that, weren't aware of what was going on there that day. And I can't imagine that I can't imagine that it was honestly more than 10. But the fact that you guys just will consistently push into your own demographic and have no interest to expand that, and no interest to actually share Jesus, share, that sort of message outside of the lane that already knows about him, astounds me. Because it just shows me it's all about money, which is fine. To a degree. Obviously, this podcast is very what's the business behind this, and that's all that. But I'm probably gonna do this soapbox once, and then I don't want to touch it again. But you guys are messing up, because you have. I believe there's no interest in actually expanding. Let's talk about it as a fan base thing. If Christianity is a fan base, you have no interest in expanding it, or you would not be talking to your target audience at all time. And take it from a guy who sat in meetings with various different labels and talked about marketing, because that's something we seem to be good at. You are not doing it right. You're not even close. And that's why I get to sit in these meetings, because I know you're not doing it right. I know you're not reaching people that you say you want to be reaching. And the reason you do that, and I understand part of it, I understand the money aspect, I understand the risk aspect, but dang, if you don't take a risk every once in a while, nothing happens. Things keep going the same. I understand you want to keep the same listener base and all that other stuff, but if you're not willing to move 10% forward every 6 months to a year, sign somebody that could be, I can think of so many bands that I know of that are in the alt Christian space, that are young bands that either we're Facebook friends, Instagram friends with, or something like that, that would be a great addition to a Capital or a Integrity or a UMG or anything like that. And I understand, or Goatee. but I understand that there has to be the money side of it. And that's, like I said, there's a big reason why this podcast exists. But if you really want to figure out why a lot of bands don't exist anymore, it's because the opportunities have been all but shut down for them. And especially in the Christian world, I think the labels are mainly to blame on that. And that is the end of my soapbox on that. And that got really real, but
welcome back.
That is very...
For those of you that skipped ahead.
Yes.
I'm very passionate about that because I've been in the meetings. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
And this moment in time, I want to shout out a label like Integrity that has people there that are trying to do the right things. I can't speak on other labels. And I'm not specifically speaking as of right now. And this is not we're bitter because we want a label or anything like that. That is not the case. Labels, if you know anything about the music industry, they're becoming less and less needed. Like, oh, it's just a money thing. We can get money. We know marketing better than they do. Like brother, when my DraftKings hits tonight, bro.
Oh my
my parlay hits tonight. I don't need their money.
There it is.
But there's a lot of things that people could do to push us back to the best parts of that era, whether they're booking shows at churches, venues being more accepting to new artists and up-and-coming artists and people that are trying to do things. The amount of times that I email people, I'm like, hey, yo, we'll come play this show for free. Like, for us, it's worth it. We'll do it for free. And I understand we're also not the only people doing that, but it's like, dude, there's people willing to bend over backwards to do things, and people are just like, meh. And soapbox number 2, let's do it. Okay, so soapbox number 2, I'm gonna make this one a lot quicker than the other one.
Thank you.
All right. There's a lot of bands that are good about this, a lot of bands that I think are terrible about this. Legacy bands. Take new bands out. Shout out to Dave Elkins. Shout out to May for an awesome experience. Other than being on Maytime. Shout out to May for an awesome experience. We loved being out with those guys.
Yeah.
They're friends of ours. Dave and I have been friends for a few years now, but that's what a younger band looks for. I understand that can't be the case all the time. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But with all these reunion tours, like I've told Hoops this. I've told Matt Hoops this. What it would mean for us to be out on something like the tour, or what it would mean for a younger band to be out on the 20 years of Lesson in Romantics or The Question or something like that. Those are the things that can really they launch new bands. They help bring in that second generation. And there's a lot of bands that are good about that. There's a lot of bands that'll just take out their old friends.
Yeah. And
my question is, why not both?
Yeah. I agree.
Why
with that.
not have an old friend be your direct support and a young TikTok band or an Instagram band or a first line a lowercase band on a flyer? Why not take them out instead? Yeah. I'm not advocating just for us. I'm advocating for every small regional band all across the world. Well, all across, the U.S., there's so many great bands that agents could reach out to that, and I know for a fact there's bands that there's people in bands that see content. I know, I know that Matt and them saw our stuff before we ever met. I know there's people that see other bands' content, and Emery was good about this. Emery took out Slow Joy, and because they saw them on Carter saw them on TikTok, and there's so many other opportunities that other bands could do. I mean, size to scale thing, Games We Play, small band when you look at the fact that they got to tour arenas with Fall Out Boy. But I mean, Games We Play, you could also argue is, I think he's $500,000 or something like that at this point. But more of that.
Yeah.
Just more of that. I'm not dogging on bands that don't do that. I'm just saying, be conscious about, do you want to do this forever? Do you want there to be another generation? Do you want to keep emo? There's one specific band I'm not going to know, but if you know, you'll know. They are very always saying, keep emo alive, keep emo alive. And that band I've never seen really take out an up-and-coming band. I could be wrong, and there could be a flyer that I'm not aware of, but they always seem to be almost always just with their friends.
Yeah, I think bottom line is when you see there's someone that saw something in us as kids that believed in us, whether it was church or band, you name, insert whatever. Like, I think we have to be a little better at seeing that in the next generation for sure, and giving them opportunity, I think, is very important.
Yeah.
Amen.
All right, if we don't have anything to add to that, let's
Praise
get to
God.
the fun thing.
Praise God. What's the
All
fun
right,
thing?
we're going to do a draft. This is how we're ending this episode. If you've stuck around this long, this is why.
Also, thank you for sticking around.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
dear
Thank you for
Lord,
listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for...
To Ryan.
Whatever camera I'm
us.
supposed to look at. Thank you.
You've been here on Positive Encouraging.
Thank you for listening to our music. Thank you for listening to other people's music. Thank you for listening to music. Thank you for going to shows.
I thought about us being the opposite of positive encouraging, like negative and damaging, K-Love.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we're going to do a draft. And the goal here is I want you guys to put in our YouTube comments if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcast. DM us. The goal here, we're going to build our ultimate Acquire the Fire draft. And we want to know who has the best. In any draft scenario, we've all got our picks. If someone gets taken off the board, got to pick someone else. Can't do it again.
I hate that.
So we've got myself, Ryan, Anthony, Taylor. Who has the best draft? Let me start by saying two things.
Okay.
One,
First thing.
Acquire the Fire. We do not know them. We're taking it back to the 2000s. We
Yeah.
don't know them to be a cult yet.
I said yeah.
We don't know that. And also, anyone who's done anything wrong yet, we don't know about that either.
No, I didn't look it up.
We don't know.
I just know it was a thing.
We don't know. I mean that for like any bands that have like, things that come out later, anything like that. I'm in 2007.
Yeah.
I'm in whatever that.
Sure.
Thank you for saying that. That really helps one of my picks.
That
out.
mine too, brother. All right. So, what we're going to do is Taylor's going to
roll.
has this app.
Yeah.
We're going to roll a dice.
You want me to roll myself? Do I just tap it?
Yeah.
There's a little blue button.
Oh, it
There's a
says roll. That makes a lot
and then
Highest-
whoever gets the highest
number.
goes first.
A 6.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Get at me.
Feels good for you.
Oh my
Does that mean I have first round pick for everything?
I think
Yeah.
if
Come
you,
on now.
5. Okay, well, I
Be
see.
a
roll
tie.
a
Be a
double,
tie.
it's
Be a
a
tie. Be a tie.
tiebreaker.
Oh, sorry, Taylor.
All right, so we'll just go in the order that we roll.
Okay, so
What's first?
your first round pick, and then me, and then Taylor. All right, so here's the thing: we get 3.
Is this Snake?
I knew you were going to ask that. I knew you being a fantasy football guy was going to ask
Does it
that.
start? So Fig would go, then you, then me, and then it would reverse order back.
Yeah, let's do that.
I like
Oh,
that. I mean, that's
heck
how I
yeah.
draft in most leagues anyway.
All right, so
Snake
you
draft.
get 3.
Save myself.
We'll call them just any kind of artist to like really get the night going. Then you have one CCM artist. Then you have a worship artist. You have a host that's hosting throughout the whole night, and you have a speaker.
Okay.
Thig, who is your first? Let's call them the opener of the night.
Okay,
Who is
wait.
yours?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
I want to just clarify the rules of this draft.
Ding dong, ding dong. Go ahead.
Love that. Thank you.
Do we have to pick? Can I pick any position first? Like if I think that you might say somebody that I have on my list, I want to say that first.
Oh yeah.
Are we picking the actual order of like the because right now we're about to pick bands, correct?
I think
like 3 bands.
let's go music and then speakers and host.
Okay, so I can if I had like my worship person, if I feel like that they're like I have to have this worship act.
Yeah.
Can I pick that first?
No, I think we're on music acts first, right? This is hard.
I know.
I just need to.
Let's do this. Let's do
We
this.
should have talked about this.
Let's do this. Let's do this. The 3 bands first.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll get through with that. And then let's pick our big CCM act, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll move to worship.
Okay, yeah.
And then host and then speaker.
So the 3 can be your opener, your medium, and your large, big.
Yeah, okay.
You can do any of those right now. All right.
Yeah.
Thig, you're first. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to be very accurate here. And the Almost was going to be my opening rock band. I mean, I feel like that's very accurate. I feel like it was very perfect for the
Do
time.
you have the almost on your board?
I do not have the
I do
almost.
not have the almost. So
Thank
your
God.
pick is safe. Bing, ding, ding. We need to put the draft sound in.
we can.
All right, here's what's crazy. So my year is very 2007 focused. Telling you that may or may not hurt me. I'm looking at a very young, very underdeveloped, very North Carolina known only. Give me a very young, early John Mark McMillan
Whoa! As you're open?
as my open. This dude just recently put out record with How He Loves, stuff like that. The Medicine's just coming. The Medicine is 2008, so this is right before The Medicine. Give me a young John Mark McMillan.
I love that pick.
See, John Mark was going to be my worship artist.
Ooh, gone now, buddy boy.
That's why I was asking if I could pick my worship artist first.
So he's gone for everything.
Not that it would matter in
gone.
this scenario.
Off the complete
but
board. Okay.
He's gone.
Okay.
I don't
I'm
think
sorry.
that qualifies as... okay.
I'm sorry.
A name can't be on twice. You can't take Derrick Henry as a running back, then take him as a quarterback. That's not how that works.
No. I'm just saying I'm not sure John Mark...
Do I need to teach you
I don't think that
football?
John Mark would be qualified in the 3 like music acts.
See, I think you're wrong because listen to that first John Mark record. Like, listen to London Town. Listen to I Dreamed I Kissed Your Feet. Like, all these songs that aren't worship songs.
Sure,
by
that's
any
fine.
stretch
Because
of the
technically,
mall.
How He Loves wasn't a worship song.
No, especially in 2007.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I didn't mean to take Ryan's side.
No, it's,
Your pick.
It's fine. I'm going to take Pillar.
Oh, that's good.
No!
Did you have Pillar?
I get another pick,
I have
so...
Pillar. Oh, man, that's great.
Dang
man.
it.
Toby Mac.
God! Why?
Dude, I'm crushing. I didn't have either of those. Dude, shout out to Pillar. We saw Pillar at a live. They were awesome.
Oh, dude, it was so freaking
It was
awesome.
so great. They were one of my favorites. They were one of
They
my,
were the only reason that
We wanted to
like
play
we
live.
had some things we had to do, but we were staying for Pillar, and then we will finish our day.
Yeah, we had to bounce, but
So freaking awesome.
Pillar was essentially the reason. I mean, Alive was awesome. Do not get me wrong. By any means.
Absolutely.
We want to go back, but Pillar was like, all right, we're going.
And Lester playing drums.
Oh, dude, they were so
bro.
sick.
Oh my god.
All right, my mid-regional band. They're not mid-regional. They're bigger band that is going to be playing second at my Acquire the Fire is Mute Math.
Really?
What do you mean? What?
What?
No one's going to this in 2007.
Are you kidding me?
All right.
Typical Control,
Anthony's your pick.
brother.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna.
You're
say,
going to be executed on Arrowhead Field.
No, you're Acquire the Fire. Y'all are eating grasshoppers and stuff there. No one's wearing any deodorant.
Oh god.
It's Furnace Fest.
So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put my rap artist as second.
Oh, I didn't even do a rap artist.
I have a rap artist.
I think
And
you need to have a rap
I
artist.
agree. So we're going rock
John
first,
Mark
which
McMillan
was
is
the almost. So
John Mark McMillan is your rap artist.
The almost is opening up. They're going to be kind of more rock, standard rock, and then we're going to move into KJ52.
Yeah, that's so
Hey,
solid.
I love
I know.
KJ52.
That's so solid.
The Mountain Dew song changed my life.
I love it when he did his
give me that
version of
Mountain
Slim
Dew.
Shady. Essentially,
Yeah.
it's so freaking
Yeah.
funny.
That's-
What is he doing now?
I don't know. We should find him.
Yeah. KJ52.
I bet he works at a
Is that
Winn
my ice
Dixie.
maker?
Yeah.
Praise God, that thing's working.
I bet he works at a Harris Teeter. or
No, he
something.
does not,
Or a
Ryan.
Kroger. Actually, I bet he lives in Nashville.
Nah.
It's Whole Foods.
If KJ, this is
Sprouts.
no disrespect to KJ52, but it feels like maybe real estate.
We could fact
He's
check
probably
that.
doing wonderful at it.
Yeah, I think he'd be great at it.
I
Hey,
think so.
yo, buddy, house.
But seriously, if we ever find KJ52, I'd love to.
Shout out, shout
I
out.
know
that
he's
guy.
not. He wasn't emo, but
Hey, he was still in my
I would
youth
do
group.
it. He was
Dude, you know
absolutely-
what? KJ52, this is an open invitation right now. If you see
Absolutely,
this,
please.
come when we do episodes in Nashville. Be on the
Episode
podcast.
52 featuring KJ52.
Oh, he
That is
prophesied.
Shonda. That is him, boy. I think
No way we
Already
make
went.
it to 52 episodes.
You're up.
no, you get to go back to back.
Yeah.
Oh, with a snake draft.
I'm a
Oh my
snake.
gosh. I'm a flipper
I'm a
snake.
snake.
Okay, since my 2 out of the last 3 options have been taken
I really can't believe y'all down.
from me,
It's crazy.
I'm going to do a band that would draw in some of the older crowd into Acquire Fire, but also maybe the next gen, and Audio Adrenaline's coming in.
I had that on my list.
I
Good pick.
figured he would have Audio Adrenaline. I did not put Audio
Coming
Adrenaline.
right on in there.
So let me ask you
headlining.
this, because this is your ATF. What era of Audio Adrenaline?
I don't, man. No, I don't know. Don't ask me that. I mean, can I just pick Ocean Floor era?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I would
'cause
say.
that's
It's
my
like
favorite era.
Ocean and floor and back.
Yeah, I love that.
I played Underdog on you know how like you used to ruin CDs by playing them so much
Yeah.
they just eventually stop working.
Absolutely.
Underdog was one of those albums that
Yeah.
it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Oh, that's actually pretty sick. We should get it repaired. Can you get it repaired?
But we could just burn a new copy. Who has a laptop with a CD like slot still?
I realized today on the way here that my car has a CD.
Oh, dude,
Oh my
it does.
gosh.
Wow.
What's it like driving a dinosaur?
I feel very confident with my list so far.
Actually, dinosaurs don't exist. They were dragons.
Adrenaline's great.
Oh,
I
no.
gotta take this off of my list now.
All right. Okay. This is not a shock, but my big regional act is going to be Reliant K.
I know it would be.
Yeah.
I knew.
It's great. Yeah.
At this point in 2007, is out. We're getting close to forget. No. We're getting close to 5 Score, or is 5 Score already out? 5 Score may already be out. So you have the height of Reliant K as far as what's being put behind them monetarily. They get the appeal from the MTV, VH1 crowd. That's what draws a non-believer in. That was important to me.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way kind of about Mute Math, about having bands that draw non-believers in because of what I said earlier. I've already got the believer base that's going to come. I'm trying to convert. Amen.
Yeah. Hey, come on.
Can you preach? Taylor, who you got?
All right.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna have a party because I've already got Pillar and Toby Mac.
What are you going to have, Carbon?
No, he's my host. I'm gonna. It's gonna just be like the courtroom song where he's like talk, sing, and the whole thing. That's what the hosting is gonna be like in this corner.
That's brilliant. That's freaking brilliant.
Dude, oh my gosh, the champion.
I have so many things that I could say here, but my final like other band because we're gonna have a party.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Family Force 5.
I knew you were going to say it.
That's good.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
dude.
that's great. You're going to have a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal.
Pillar,
Yeah.
Family Force 5, Toby Mac.
Man, what
you
a time to
kidding me?
be a 13-year-old. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, seriously.
I would have stood at the Coliseum 3 a.m.
Didn't
3
he
a.m.
have a whole can he wore or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Cole Johnson played with Family Force 5 for a while.
That is amazing. Oh.
And now he looks like he's in Demon Hunter.
Yeah, I
Okay,
love
so
that.
we've all done our 3.
Yep.
Where
Now
we moving to work?
what's
Our
next?
CCM act?
CCM act?
CCM Act.
Okay.
And Taylor, you're up first.
Dang it.
My CCM act.
Yeah.
Make sure I get this right.
I feel like I might get got here.
Yeah, I forgot my CCM
Honestly,
act.
it's amazing that I'm in the middle. I don't know how that happened, but
I love that.
David Crowder.
dang it! That's what I was gonna say.
No, it's brilliant.
That's what I was gonna say. Because dude, at that point, that's peak David Crowder. For me.
Absolutely. I went to, I think it was an Aquire the Fire in Charlotte, and David Crowder played, and he brought out the Guitar Hero controller,
Yeah.
and it was
yeah.
like
That freaking BWAC
MIDI.
program,
Oh, God.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When we started talking about that we were going to
depressed.
do this game, that was the first thing on my list. Forget everything else. First thing on my list was I have to get David Crowder. That's who I was going to take first overall.
Yeah.
I got mine. I'm good to go.
But
Because I wanted to secure it.
yeah. Why I had David Crowder, I'm going to obviously tell a different pick, but why I had him, because I also had John Mark. Obviously, you did too.
Yeah.
So you have this, I have this early John Mark that David Crowder's sloppy wet nonsense hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have this. You have no shade to David Crowder. I think if there would have been an Aquire the Fire that had John Mark and David Crowder, no offense to David Crowder for real, but we would have never needed his version.
Sure.
I know his story about half his church felt one way, half his church felt the other way. But if we would have got to hear John Mark's raw emotion the way I heard it as a
Yeah.
North Carolinian,
Oh, yeah. Come on now.
it would have been a game changer. It would have been huge.
It would have been huge.
All right, so for my CCM act,
Hit it. If you take mine, I will kill you.
I was going to go with David Crowder, clearly, but I think at 2007, I think I'll play it safe and go Switchfoot.
For a CCM act?
Yep. Because at this
Really?
point, we're going to Hello Hurricane. We're shifting away from, if you look at where they're sectioned in the Christian bookstore, Switchfoot is not beside Under Oath anymore.
Yeah.
If they were at one point, they're definitely not anymore.
Right.
They're leaning closer to a, you know what? Screw it. I'm going Stephen Curtis Chapman. Give me the guy.
Okay, thank you. That's a great choice.
Give me the guy.
That's a great choice. Because I was about to say, clearly this whole podcast is all about the money and business and Christian music. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's a joke, by the way.
All right, but then who you got?
So what I'm trying to do in
I just went on a great adventure.
in my Acquire the Fire run,
I thought that's who you were going to choose.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that there's something for everyone. Okay, I'm trying to make sure there's something for all generations to come and
Do you
worship
have
together.
Neo coming?
No, I don't. Come close.
Remind me your picks one more time.
Okay, so I was the Almost, and then I was KJ52.
Yes.
What a lineup.
And then I was, who's my last one?
I don't know. Is it not on your phone?
It is, sorry. That's a very logical thing to say. I was Audio Adrenaline.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I was.
Okay, great.
That's what I was. And then so my CCM act, which I will bring in a whole other demographic of listeners, will be Third Day.
I
Yes.
thought about Third Day.
Great pick.
I mean, there was a time where I really did. I still respected what they've done. Mac Powell.
For fans of Creed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to let you know. I was in between bringing the Third Day crowd, which would have been all of our parents for K-Love, or bridging the gap between parents and grandparents, which would have been Phillips, Craig, and Dean.
Phillips, Craig, and Dean.
At that point, just bring in the Gaither vocal band.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Phillips, Craig, and Dean might be playing this year Winter Jam.
I think they've been hosting it for a long time, haven't they? Something like that.
Winter Jam.
That's
you
a
gotta
new
get,
song.
You gotta get first.
Okay, so we're moving to worship now.
All right,
We're moving to worship now.
Go thick.
You get first pick, and I hate this.
Yeah.
Me too.
Mine's gonna get taken. I already know.
Yeah, same.
I'm assuming. Okay, I'm going to
Which
ask
is
a
bad
question.
because I've already got 2 taken. Oh, also, I really wanted to pick FFH for my CCM, but that's a little old.
FFH and Avalon duke it out to get the spot.
I wanted to pick Veggie Rocks.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I would like to exude a Christian attitude in this moment, knowing that a lot of people probably want to pick United because it was so there at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly who I am.
Okay, now that is my number one pick. But what I would love to do is I would love to give up and coming Kim Walker and Chris Kilala a chance from Jesus Culture, because at this era, like 2010, they're coming out with Come Away and Rooftops and things like that.
Yeah.
So I would love to
Charismatic.
I would love to give them a shot.
Yeah,
it's called Acquire the Fire for a reason.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm going to go Jesus Culture, Kim Walker, and Chris Kilala leading.
All right, if you're gonna do that, and I can't use United.
No, you can. I'm saying I was trying to give you guys a gift.
All right, I'll do this. I was going to use United because that first United album is a...
Bro, Break Free and all that stuff.
The guitar riffs alone are incredible and shows me that Christian music can be innovative.
Was that Nigel? Was that Nigel Hindroff? Hindroff?
Could have been
How do
Eddie
you say
Van
it?
Halen for all I know. I don't know.
It was phenomenal. Searching the world.
Dude, so good. It shows me you guys can be creative. Do it again. It's not hard.
Dude, it's awesome.
I will pass on that, and I'm going to go Matt Redman.
Yes, bro. Thank you. 10,000 Reasons with the whole freaking
Well, dude,
arena.
10,000 Reasons isn't out at this point.
I know, but I'm
talking
saying he still's got the it factor. Oh, yeah.
Dude, that song, woo. You want to get me back? Come on, hallelujah.
I agree.
Taylor, who you got?
I love this. I love what I've created here.
This is my idea. What are you talking about?
So, I'm going to take Hillsong United. Because I think it just makes my lineup... I don't know how you could not buy a ticket.
You're going to have to discount your tickets.
No,
Your tickets are going on sale.
my tickets are, there's going to be scalpers. That's going to be the problem.
I love that.
With my Acquire the Fire is because
illegal.
you're not going to be able to buy.
Let me tell you something about your scalpers. It's like us buying butters. We think we're buying them, but we're going to have
No.
to give them away for under
Also,
retail.
shout out to
in
Ryan for giving me my
2007
butters. Thank you.
In 2007, to go see Pillar, Toby Mac, Family Force 5, David Crowder, like Hillsong United. Wow.
Dude, I'm not gonna knock your Hillsong
Insane.
United pick. All I'm gonna say is I took the harder way out.
No, I'm gonna say this. If we all give up Hillsong United,
Which I think we should, because I
Not-
think like we would all pick them.
but I'm gonna take it because you gave it up.
Well, can you tell us your other option?
Yes,
you have?
give
I'm
me
going to tell you my
another
other option, and it's not a popular option, and I like what you did, and mine's
Thank you.
even more off the beaten path. But for me, in the circle that I was in, if I
Say
hadn't
it.
had the opportunity to go see them, and because my Acquire the Fire is already such a party, I feel like we need to turn it way down.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go United Pursuit.
Oh my gosh, Will Reagan?
Will Reagan.
Brother, come on.
Yeah, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's really good.
My honorable mention was going to be Planet Shakers for the time.
Dude, I honestly, so I went to so many Aquire the Fires for real, and the best worship act that I think I ever saw was Unhindered. Which
Honey,
was
why you come?
it was Honey, Why Didn't You Call Me? I think was their song.
It's a cover band of Hinder. It's Unhindered.
Yeah, it was
I
just the
love that.
opposite lyrics for every song.
I love that.
No, but they were good. It was Pat Barrett. He writes a lot of worship stuff.
Yeah.
But
Still.
yeah, it was.
I can't wait to get
great.
to the next part.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Taylor, who's your host?
Okay.
If you take mine, I swear.
No, I told you I don't have a host.
Okay.
Like my host is.
You're gonna go. Oh, when I say mine.
Not. I really struggled with the host, but I do. I really wanted it to be John Chris, but that was way before his time.
Oh, that would have been good though. Honestly, I could give you that.
I mean, if you want to give me John Chris, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm gonna go with live action role play Bob and Larry walking out on the stage, hopping out on the stage, and hosting every last drop.
Honestly, I might give you both together, and
I think that could be a
I
party.
could also give you Larry Boy. I still think your tickets are discounted.
At some point, the guy from Family Force 5 is going to come out and interact with them, though. That's important.
Oh yeah,
That's fair.
I love that.
If they were at mine, they could do Pirates with Reliant K, but that's fine. My host is not funny. It's not anything. Based on his current life, I think this would set him up perfect. Give me Stephen Christian from Anberlin to host an event like that. Pastor Stephen now, think he's a perfect fit to be in a situation like that because I can't see Anberlin there, but I could totally see Stephen there. So give me Stephen to be in a situation like that. That's not a funny one.
I know it's not funny.
I think that's a good one.
Taylor?
And he's an awesome communicator. The video I did with him for Furnace Fest, dude, he's
a great communicator.
Can turn it on, and I mean, it's a pastor. He can turn it on in a second.
Yeah.
I think he'd be awesome.
Taylor, comments?
I also thought about taking Mike Rowe.
Who's that?
Is it Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs?
What
That'd
is
be
that?
fun. I don't know.
That's Passion Conference. Okay.
I don't know what that is.
I'm ready.
All right.
All right,
Yeah,
go.
I want you to.
We've been hearing about this in our group text for a week.
So because I think that we've had, a lot of musical acts and we've had a good time
Swear
in
if you
worship.
take my speaker. I'll be so pissed.
I think we have to have a little bit of humor
I like that.
around.
Yeah.
And so Tim Hawkins is going to be my host.
Oh, that's good. Wait, that's really good. If I was thinking the other day.
Dude,
Oh yeah, dude. That's great. There's your old version of.
thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm proud of that.
that's really good.
Thank you. Affirmation. I love it.
That's gold.
You said Mark Lowry earlier. That was fun.
You
Yeah,
did.
dude. I would love Mark Lowry.
That would've been
I
awesome.
also said Bible Man is the host.
You
would
sure
be
did.
crazy. Or Donut Man. All right, Thig. Last leg here.
Donut Man.
Last, bro, dude just comes out slinging Krispy Kremes, and all of a sudden Charles Barkley's there. Just all right, man, it's terrible. Give you one of them.
And the woman that's saying Tony with them churros.
Yeah, some big old women down there. All right, your
So
last.
this is my speaker.
This is your speaker. This is your speaker of the house.
So I'm going to say my joke one just because looking now it's really funny, but Kenneth Copeland was going to be my joke.
That's pretty funny.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. Oh, the window.
So I'm torn between my two serious ones, but I'm going to go just because, correct me if I'm wrong, Aquire the Fire was more on the charismatic side, right? Clearly by the name. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
The one person that I believe that Aquire the Fire, who was not necessarily, a charismatic speaker, they would let him in because of his brilliance and the way that he teaches, is I think that they would welcome Louis Giglio in.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah, great pick. I had that on my list.
Did you? I feel like they would appreciate what he had to say, even though he wasn't Kushala Malanda, So I feel like
Well, Aquire the Fire wasn't that charismatic.
It was in comparison to Winter Jam.
Yeah. So I think Louis would be an amazing pick. He would be very biblical foundations, but also really open your brain up to thinking things in a different way.
He had that the whole laminin thing that he did.
Yeah.
The galaxy.
I think it's a great pick. Francis Chan was my backup.
Ooh, good.
Oh wait, that's really good.
Yeah.
I almost thought about John Piper, but I was like,
Okay.
I'm gonna let Taylor go next because mine. You're not gonna pick mine. I already know it. We're not gonna have the same one.
Is there serious or a joke?
It's way a joke.
Okay.
But I want Taylor to go next because we need to close with mine.
I think I struggled here because I think one of the best communicators at like a youth conference like Aquire the Fire really was that I have heard was John Gray.
Yeah.
And we talked about him a little bit earlier, which is funny. But I think probably so I struggled between that and knowing that I've heard him when I was younger. He was very good, but also I just really like Craig Groeschel even still. Now. Like,
a little Life Church in there.
He's solid.
Okay.
He was more up and coming then and more Pastor Craig than leader.
Yeah, then Craig Rochelle.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. At this point in time, we're looking at people in their peak.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my pick.
Oh boy.
Stephen Furtick.
I think my pick is very important. And I hope we don't get copyright strikes for this.
You're gonna do Michael Guglielmucci?
But give me Michael Guglielmucci with the cane, with the air tank. I can't think of a bigger MLM than Michael Guglielmucci selling people that he was sick. If there's anyone I need to convince a stadium, give me Michael Guglielmucci on the money
That is
line.
brilliant. That is brilliant.
I knew earlier when he said Mike.
Yeah,
that's what
dude,
you were
Joe
gonna choose.
screwed me. He was like, Michael, who's Michael? I was like, oh God, come on, dog. Yeah,
That's a great pick.
Give me Michael Guglielmucci to change lives.
You know that the only other person who would have picked that would have been me at this table.
I know. That's why I was so nervous when you were like, I got a good one. I was like, gosh, he's going to have
Because
Michael
remember,
Guglielmucci.
we had that whole debate, like, can we still sing that song?
Oh, yeah. Great song.
He was going to
we
be
did
my
it.
host, but I figured carting all that back and forth in between would be.
If you do not know who Michael Guglielmucci is, I don't want to tell the whole story, but I'll tell a little bit of it.
No.
Is a guy, it was a Hillsong guy who wrote an incredibly good song and just essentially faked an illness to support something. Just go look it up.
Yeah, it should probably be a Netflix documentary.
Dude, honestly, with everything else that's come out, it's
Yeah, I mean it's right on par with a lot of those things with the
Gosh,
like
that
the
song-
Gypsy
Great
Rose
song,
thing
though.
and all that kind of stuff.
So
It's-
good, dude. We kept singing it for sure with a key change. I know.
man, I love
it
it
was so good, man.
I wasn't planning on queuing that up, but I just thought about it at the moment. I was like, this would be great.
It's brilliant, dude. I love that.
All right, final rundown just all together.
Yep, go for it.
All right, so I was the Almost KJ52 and Audio Adrenaline as my musical acts, and then we moved into my CCM act, which was Third Day, and then we moved into my worship act, which was going to be Jesus Culture, Kim Walker, Chris Kilala era, and then we moved into Tim Hawkins hosting, and then Louis Giglio speaking.
Mine was give me John Mark McMillan for the opener. Mute Math. Still think that's a great pick. You guys are wrong. Reliant K.
I like Mute Man.
Same.
Reliant K closing out the normal bands. And then give me, I said, Stephen Curtis Chapman, bringing in the slightly older crowd.
Yeah.
For CCM.
Love that.
Matt Redman to lead worship. This is right on the Matt's just really starting to kick off.
Yeah.
Stephen Christian from Amberlin is my host. And then the late, he's not late. He's still alive. Give me the great Michael Guglielmucci. Yes, my.
Is it Mucci or Michi? Guglielmucci.
It don't matter now. But he's my speaker.
Googly something.
Taylor Gal.
And I had Pillar, Family Force 5. Family Force 5. Family Force 5.
Force 5.
Family Force 5.
Hey.
Toby Mac. David Crowder Band. United Pursuit.
Yeah.
Bob and Larry.
Yeah.
Craig Groeschel.
Yeah.
Please put in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube whose Acquire the Fire lineup was better. Who would you pay $20 to go? I mean, I'd pay $20 to see any of that, but whose would you have gone to if you could have gone one? This is episode 2.
Yeah.
This is fun. These are coming out January. I'm not sure at this point in time if they're every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. But thanks for sticking around. Our next episode, like I said, we have our very first guest, Joseph Mustin. Joe's been a friend of mine for 15 years. Diggs worked with him. Taylor just met him for the first time today.
Yeah.
But we had a great time talking to Joe. We have a lot more guests in the works. We have a lot more plans. Always subscribe to this YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. I don't know how podcasts work. This is
Honestly,
do you subscribe on Spotify?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I like on Spotify when you hear podcasts and you hear.
Ryan, I do have an important question from a marketing standpoint.
KJ52 calls.
Are we starting any kind of specific socials for this podcast?
Oh yeah. Follow it at the thing that's on the screen right now because I haven't made the account.
That's true.
So
It'll be right here.
It'll be right there. Just follow it.
Links in the description.
Links in yes. Check out my Christian Mingle in the bio below. All right, see you next time. Bye.